Welcome, sports fans, to the wide world of poetry. Tonight, we have a dandy, a heavyweight poetry championship of the world. Both opponents are ready. Muhammad Ali has spent the last week reading a rhyming dictionary and listening to Rod McEwen albums, while Cher Almond has sequestered herself in her Beverly Hills home, working out every day with her sparring partner, Nipsey Russell. They're ready, so let's go to the ring and our referee, Don Diphthong.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, 15 rounds of poetry for the heavyweight championship of the world. In this corner, the vaccine versifier, Cher Almond. Champion of the world, 216 pounds of poetic power, the only man who actually did write a sonnet about an Easter bonnet, the Louisville laureate, Muhammad Ali. You two. Now I want you to remember, keep your voices up and no iambic pentameter allowed. In case of a pun, go to a neutral corner. Now I want you to shake hands and come out rhyming.
When a man sees you, it's on your nose he dwells. It's actually larger than Howard sales.
You know, they're filming your life story, and there's really no cause, because it's been on the screen once, and they call the film Jaws.
I love your show, and I admire your style. But Cher, you'll pay it so cheap, I won't see you for a while.
You know, I'm glad that you've turned to acting and writing, because my daughter could punch out those bums you've been fighting.
Okay, keep it moving. Watch the meter.
I view you each day, although I'm not an admirer. I always see your face on the National Enquirer.
You know, when you're through fighting, what will you do then? You can't be a ref because you can't count to 10.
That remark you just made was lower than low, just like the ratings you got when you had your own show.
Good one, Muhammad. Okay, in the corners.
giant from Maine to Montego. You're really a shrimp with a 6'3" ego.
You think you're so smart. Well, I'm gonna tell you something that's funny. It don't take much smarts to be smarter than Sonny.
Hey, that's a low blow, Muhammad. I'm not complaining.
You just got a divorce, and one fact that'll amaze you, alimony can hit harder even than Frasier.
I changed my name once, and they said I was a scamp. But at changing one's last name, I believe you're the champ.
You know, that last fight with Norton was rampant with friction. Did you win that fight, or was that science fiction? You know, you're not like you were in the old days, mister. You float like a hippo, and you sting like my sister. In your next fight with Boardman, they'll call you the broom, because old George will use you to sweep up the room.
One, two, buckle my shoe. 3, 4, close the door. 5, 6, pick up sticks.
Well, it looks like it's all over for the champ. Cher has won. And I can't get to her, Cher. I can't get to her. She's leaving the ring now. Cher, will you give him another rematch? Will you give him a rematch?
Of course, darling, but he'll have to beat Marie Osmond first.
Well, here's Ali. Yes, here he is now. He's still a little weak and a little dazed. What happened, Muhammad?
Well, she was in great condition. I never knew she had such great couplets. I was dancing. I was on my toes for the first 4 rhymes. But then she hit me with the left quatrain. I was expecting a classical dactyl. But then she came in with an anapestic rondelay. I want a rematch. I know I can beat that Marie Osmond.
Well, one last question. How did Cher beat you when you've never lost a poetry match before?
Easy. I never fought her on her own show before.